I awoke with a start. The air in my room had gotten notably cooler, and I was shivering.
寝ちゃった。
Rubbing my eyes, I glanced at my clock. The needles indicated it was 6:45. We're getting closer to 7 o'clock, everybody.
もうこんな時間。
It was black outside my window, streaked with lines from the still pouring rain.
明日は晴れるといいんだけど。
Sunny for my exam. The weight of what the next day held for me came rushing into my mind. I'd practiced the interview process with my teachers quite thoroughly, but I was still really nervous.
そうだ。明日の用意しておかなくっちゃ。
There was still a little time before dinner. My mind swimming, I decided to take this opportunity to clean out all the notes and textbooks I would need tomorrow from my bag.
残しておくものは学生証でしょ。それからハンカチ。
This, that, and the other, and the charm somehow ended up in my bag.
受験票も忘れずに入れて、それからペンケース。
Oh, we gonna get the pencil?
あれ？
We gonna make it up?
嘘。ペンケースがない。
Oh no, we lost his good luck charm. No!
学校に忘れてきちゃった。
No, don't go back and get it. Do not go back. You're about to be chased by a ghost! My face suddenly went pale.
別に筆記用具で困ったわけじゃない。家にはいくらでも代わりがある。
But it had my not really boyfriend's good luck charm.
だけど、あの中には、
Yep.
司くんから借りた受験必勝鉛筆が入っているのだ。
And yes, I am superstitious enough to believe that.
取ってこなくちゃ。
And we're gonna get there by 7 o'clock, baby! Gonna get haunted by Yoshi.
私ちょっと学校に忘れ物取りに行ってくる。
え？もうすぐご飯できるわよ。
Be back in a flash.
すぐ戻るから。
そう。雨も降っているし、気をつけていくのよ。
あの鉛筆は絶対に明日試験会場へ持っていかなければならないものの一つだった。だから私は迷うことなく学校に戻る道を選んだ。
Sorry, just the sopping wet footsteps. So real.
降りしきる雨の中、足元に気を配りながら全速力で走る。走っている間、ちらりと頭をよぎるのは起きた時の時間だ。
Ooh. The superstition. Oh man, it's about to kick in. And if Kana's story was to be believed, oh boy! We are gonna get haunted. We are gonna get haunted. We are gonna get haunted. Yoshi's gonna kill somebody
校舎についている
tonight.
大時計が指し示す時間は6時55分。
What do you think the allotted time for a haunting is? Like an hour? 10 minutes, maybe?
放課後の吉江さんの怪談話が再び頭をよぎる。10月、雨が降る放課後、夜7時。
The stage is set. Let the game begin.
あのおばあちゃん、
Oh, 3 minutes max?
もしかして
Is that Phasmophobia rules?
分かっていて。やだな、もう怪談なんてあんなの作り話だって。
Yep, just some old campfire
込
tale.
み上げてくる恐怖を抑えつけるために声を出して自分を叱咤する。
Okay, okay, just run inside.
見上げた校舎に人影はない。こんな時間なら生徒はもう帰宅しているだろうし、先生だってどれくらい残っているのか。けれど廊下の電気はまだすべてついていた。あれだけ明るければそこまで怖い思いを
I
しな
can
くて
make
も
it without
教室まで
freaking
行ける。
out.
よし、
Okay, here we go.
パッと済ましちゃおう。
Exactly. Run up there, grab the case, come back down. That's it. Brrr. I folded up my soaked umbrella and left it on the rack by the entrance, and then changed into my indoor shoes. Well, that probably wasted like 30 needed seconds. Entering the brightly lit hall, I took another look around.
やっぱり生徒は誰も残ってないみたい。
Go, 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 go! My deep sigh echoed through the deathly silent corridor. Ooh, deathly silent. Ordinarily, the din of other students would drown out noises like this, but every little sound was coming through crystal clear at this late hour. Oh my god.
急がなくちゃ。もうすぐ7時だ。
I quickly beeline toward classroom 3-4.
今朝のおばあさんね。さっき亡くなったみたい。
Uh-oh.
その天神小学校で放課後校舎の見回りをしていた女の先生が誤って階段から落ちて死んだんだって。
Oh, we're recounting all that could happen.
その日は10月の
All the bad stuff that
ちょうど
happened.
今日みたいに雨が降る放課後で、時刻はそう夜の
Oh,
7時を過ぎ
just
たあ
after
たり。
7.
こういう日はよしえさんが出るんだって。
Alright, you guys ready?
天神小学校がなくなってしまったことに気づいていないよしえさんは如月学園の廊下を見回って歩いているんだよ。
I think we're about to get haunted. My heart started racing.
もう何考えてるのよ私。七不思議なんて司くんも言ってたじゃない。深く考えない方がいいって。
Ooh! Nice lightning flash. I jumped in spite of myself. Oops.
とにかくパッと教室に行ってペンケース取ってこなくちゃ。
Just run in, grab it, and leave. No ghost should show up in a well-lit building like this, right? And power goes out. And even if they did, they wouldn't be very scary under all these bright lights.
あのペンケースに入ってる鉛筆は明日の試験にどうしても必要なの。
Oh my god.
だってあれは司くんがくれたお守りなんだもの。
I picked up the pace as I continued to head straight for room 3-4.
Judou部の方はもう真っ暗だな。やっぱり誰もいないのね。
Oh no.
それにしても今日はいつもよりこの廊下が長い感じがする。ただでさえこの廊下で遅刻しそうになるくらいなのに。
Ooh, we got some ghost trickery going on. I continue my brisk walk down the impossibly long hallway toward my goal, jumping every now and again whenever another thunderclap sounded. Kisaragi Academy was comprised of both a middle school and a high school, and this evening, it really felt like it was flaunting its massive size. Just call me Kisaragi Academy! Didn't help that my classroom was in the high school wing, which happened to be past the middle school, making it seem that much farther away.
いつもは賑やかな場所がこんなにも静まり返っていると余計に物寂しい気がするな。雨の音がやけに大きく聞こえるよ。
Every drop of rain, every moan of the undead. I was focusing on the scant few sounds around me as I paced down that long, lonely corridor. Then, all of a sudden, here we go! I heard a faint noise, as of someone playing an organ.
今の空耳だよね。そうに決まってるよ。
Uh-huh.
こんな時間に音楽室で楽器を鳴らす人なんているわけないし。
I took a deep breath, trying to calm my nerves. She's gonna give herself a panic attack. It was probably the sounds of the rain, wind, and thunder mixing together. Yeah, it just sounded like an organ, that's all. I was convinced. I kept walking. But then, I heard the same noise again, this time much more clearly. It was unmistakable.
嘘やだ
I was paralyzed with fear. My heart was pounding as if it were struggling to break free of someone's sinister grip.
きっとまだ吹奏楽部の子とか先生が残って弾いてるんだよねそうだそうに決まってるよ
Oh, that's some good cope. Thinking about it, I vaguely recalled someone mentioning an upcoming performance by the Wind Instrument Club. I guess an organ would qualify. Somebody must have just stayed late to practice, that's all.
何でもかんでも怖い話に直結させちゃいけないな
I took another deep breath and tried again to calm my overly jittery nerves.
怖いと思ったら何でも怖く思えるものだよね
Chat, you're scary. I had heard that if you let your imagination run too wild, fear can even make you see things that aren't there. That is very true. And my imagination was most definitely running wild.
あとちょっとで教室だから走っていこう
yeah, I think I'll just sprint. I decided to dash toward my classroom so I could get out of this hall as quickly as possible. See? We're fine! Finally reaching that familiar door, I swiftly opened it and flicked on the lights.
やっとたどり着いたあとはペンケースを忘れないようにしなくちゃ
Thanks to all my unexpected pauses to freak out over thunder and lightning, it took me far longer than it should have to get here. It was already well past 7. Oh, shit.
7時か
It was the appointed time when the ghost of a teacher was supposed to appear, at least according to the school legend.
何もないじゃない
Silly me. I let out a sigh of relief and relaxed my shoulders a bit. The lights were on both inside the classroom and out in the hallway. Sure, it was still dead silent, but the fear I'd been feeling had completely melted away.
全然怖くないよやっぱり七不思議だなんて嘘だったんだな
Man, the pre-exam nerves really get to you. I grabbed the pen case I'd come for and shoved it into my pocket.
よしこれで任務完了だね
And now, with my long ordeal behind me, more or less, I looked around the classroom and let out another sigh. I'd only ever known this classroom when it was bustling with activity and thus found its eerie silence and utter stillness to be oddly fascinating.
教室に私一人ってなんだか不思議な感じがするな
I got the idea in my head to try doing something I normally wouldn't be able to, like standing at the teacher's podium and writing on the blackboard.
こんなシチュエーションめったにないし
Hey, if we're going to be a teacher, any practice is good practice. To me, the area behind that podium from which teachers conduct their lessons was like a sacred space. A place that ghosts definitely wouldn't try to attack me at. I dreamed of standing there myself one day, and could hardly resist its pull when presented with a rare opportunity like this.
今なら誰も見てないし
To my classmates, this would seem like such a silly, stupid dilemma, but that didn't change the way I felt at that moment.
どうしようかな
Okay, no joke. I am not even kidding with you. If you leave the room, you get a bad ending. We have finally gotten to the gameplay portion of this chapter. This kills you. We're gonna stand at the teacher's podium.
よし少しだけ先生の気分を味わっちゃえ
I decided I had to try it. Yes, I am dead serious. There are about 5 bad endings, that's the first one. Leaving the room. Because, and I actually had to think about it, it's past 7. There's a ghost out there, most likely. That's probably what kills us. Hold up, there was a game in this gameplay? Yeah, no kidding. What is that, 2.5 hours? Eesh. One false move and you're dead, yep. But this was the first time I'd ever had an opportunity to just stand here and preside over the classroom.
そうか。先生からはこんな風に見えるんだ。
Look at me.
なんかちょっとドキドキする。
Hell yeah, girl. Gaining a teacher's point of view in the most literal sense was starting to get me really fired up. It may seem silly now, but this was my stage. This was where all my dreams would play out.
私もいつか。
I began to imagine the future that awaited me. Death. Painstakingly detailing some new pieces of knowledge for students sitting attentively at their desks. Gliding chalk across the board, filling it with information to aid them in their studies.
いつか先生になれるといいな。
You're doing great, Yui. I was getting so excited that even I began to think my behavior was a little strange. Maybe it was the juxtaposition of these joyous feelings, freeing visions, and the prickling dread I'd been feeling up until just a minute or two before. But then, in the blink of an eye, one of these two conflicting emotions completely overpowered the other. We're gonna get fucked up. Oh! Oh my god! I would hate that! I would lose my goddamn mind! I would lose it!
停電？
And here's the blackout! Suddenly, my surroundings were bathed in darkness. Going stiff with shock, I stumbled back a step. My back struck the blackboard with a dull thud.
いきなり何？
Yeah, no kidding. I instinctively grabbed hold of the rail where the eraser sat. I felt chalk dust against my fingertips. My panicked heartbeat was making it difficult to breathe. Was this caused by the thunderstorm? If so, it sure picked a fine time to turn the lights out on me.
しかもオルガンの音まだ響いてる。嘘なんで？停電になってるならオルガンだって鳴らないはずなのに。
Ooh! Oh boy. Was this what the old woman was trying to warn me about? That's impossible. She was no fortune teller or psychic, as far as I was aware. How could she possibly have known this would happen? Hell, even if she were a fortune teller or a psychic, predicting the future is the stuff of science fiction. Okay, she doesn't believe in fortune tellers or psychics, but will actively believe the 7 wonders of Kisaragi.
落ち着くのよ、私。音楽室の方はまだ停電になってないとか、きっとそんな理由だよ。
I curled my chalk-dusted fingers into a fist and silently tried to talk some sense into myself.
ともかく、早く校舎を出よう。
I shouldn't have been playing teacher. I should have been in and out by now. Cursing myself a little, I fumbled my way through the darkened classroom. Don't stop that shit! Kicking over desks. I spent so much time in here, you'd think I'd be able to find my way out of it with my eyes closed, as it were. But sadly, that wasn't the case. Smashing loudly into a desk, I knocked it on its side and began tumbling after it, instinctively grabbing one of the other desks around me for support. God, we just ate shit. We are a klutz.
と、いけない。机の中身まき散らしちゃったよ。元に戻さなくちゃ。
Or just, you know, leave it. Still fumbling around blindly, I gathered up all the scattered notes, textbooks, and writing utensils that I could see.
暗くて何がなんだか。もう何やってるのよ、急いでるのに。本当にドジなんだから。
What can I say? I can call him every time. You klutz. I let out a sigh. I seem to be doing that a lot lately, haha.
これは教科書とノートでしょ?
Alright, so this is a textbook, this is a notebook, this is a severed hand. I was trying to take inventory of all the things I'd knocked out of the desk, then realized, why? I might as well just stand it up and stuff it all back in. Thank you!
さすがに全部を間違いなく元に戻すのは無理だな。明日ここの席の子に謝らなくちゃ。
Exactly. Just walk in, just go, hey, my bad. Not that that was a particularly pleasant prospect. Ooh, triple P. Particularly pleasant prospect. That's fun. Explaining what I'd done wouldn't be easy, and no matter how I sugarcoated it, it would serve as a clear indication of not only my clumsiness, but the fact that I was here past 7 o'clock. If I didn't say anything, it's not like I'd be found out, but that would be the same as lying, as far as I'm concerned. And I couldn't do that. Meanwhile, I have been wasting multiple minutes in this place past 7 o'clock.
これで最後かな?
In the dark. Placed my hand against the floor and swept it around, feeling for anything I might have missed. And I found something, all right.
やだ。何これ?
Oh
なんだ
my
かぬるぬるして。
fucking god. I clearly brushed my fingers across something, but I had no idea what. It was no notebook or writing implement, though, that's for sure. If it's actually a severed hand, Niskeldamas cannot be stopped.
机の中からなんでブニュブニュしたものが?
Maybe it had been on the floor all along. Somebody just upchucked and nobody decided to clean it.
なんだろう、これ。
Oh, I rubbed my sticky fingertips a bit deeper into the wet spot and brought my hand up close to my face where I could get a better look at what was there. It's probably just blood. What on earth did I just touch? Here, let me taste it. Mmm. Ugh. There was a flash of lightning almost immediately joined by a roaring thunderclap. And with it, for a split second, the pitch-black classroom was lit up bright as day. That was cool. That was really cool. I shot to my feet, utterly mortified. In that split second, I had gotten a very good look at my fingers, and it really did seem as if they were covered in blood. But it wasn't just my hand. No, if my peripheral vision were to be trusted, it looked like the entire classroom was stained a deep, dark crimson.
そういえば、なんとなく生臭い気がする。
Oh, baby. Without thinking, I backed away from where I'd been crouching. I tried rationalizing what I saw. How could a whole classroom become a bloodbath like this? Did something spill? Did someone stumble in here injured? Oh, Yui.
ありえない。そんな、何よこれ!
My whole body was quaking. I fled from the classroom. There you go. Or rather, I tried to flee. Oh no, is the door locked by hair?
開かない! やだ!
Oh, she is about to get erased.
鍵なんてかかってなかったのに。今だって鍵はかかってないよ。それなのに、どうして?
I pulled on the door handle again and again in a frenzy. I was pulling so hard it felt like my fingernails might tear loose. Ugh. But it just wouldn't budge. I was absent-mindedly grabbing at my hair with one hand and slammed my fist on a nearby desk with the other. This was a nightmare. Imagine if this was just a prank. That would fuck me up. Silence saturated the inky blackness of the room. I took several deep breaths in an effort to restrain my pounding heart.
とにかく一度落ち着かないと。 そもそもドアが開かないのだって私がこんなにパニックになってるせいかもしれないし。
Should have kept the charm, huh?
さっきの変な塊だってきっと何かの勘違いだよ。だってありえないじゃない。教室にあんなわけのわからないものが落ちてるだなんて。
Hold on, let me check the clock. Oh, it's horror o'clock. I was certain that when I saw what it actually was come morning, it ended up being something totally random, like someone's old soda-stained gym clothes.
きっとそうだよ。そうだ。指についたのだって美術に使う絵の具かもしれないじゃない。
If that's to be believed, Yui, then you crashed into that desk so violently that paint flew everywhere. My imagination was just running wild because I was panicking.
もしかしたらドアに何かが挟まってて開かないだけかもしれない。
I decided to check out that hypothesis by feeling my way across the door and determining if anything was jutting out from any of the cracks.
ダメだ。真っ暗で何にも見えない。
I fumbled around the gaps in the door, but I just couldn't make anything out that way.
他の出口は。
Yeah, aren't there 2 doors in this room? No, this was the 3rd floor. I couldn't get out of here without exiting into the hallway. Oh dear.
今すぐ外に出たいのに。
Still at a loss, I noticed a sudden flash of light through the hallway window. But the glass was only translucent, so I couldn't be sure of its source.
誰か歩いてくる。
Oh, we're gonna get a CG close-up of who's out there? Oh, hell no! Then there came the distinctive clomp, clomp, clomp of footsteps.
そうだ。きっと用務員さんだ。
Help! Help! I recalled the existence of a custodian who always patrolled the school grounds. Oh, he died months ago, honey. I'm sure he was probably taking a look around at the sudden power outage.
助かった。
All at once, my fear-addled legs regained their strength. This nightmare would soon be over.
すみません。
I shouted to the custodian at the top of my lungs through the window. Oh, that just alerted the ghost.
すみません。閉じ込められてるんです。
I had to be sure he heard me. I shouted again, more desperate this time. Finally, I could see the light out in the hallway again, and it seemed to be getting closer. Hell yeah, we're getting out of here. However...
なんかこの光おかしい気がする。
Perturbed, I took a step away from the window.
懐中電灯だったらもっと明るいよね。この光はなんだか。
Oh, man. Like the faint, unearthly glow, classically attributed to spirits, was what I was thinking. I tried to stop myself from finishing that thought, however. Dullness aside, it also looked like it was wriggling around in a very unnatural, very unflashlight-like way.
それにこの足音。
Oh. I hate that. They were sounding in a fixed rhythm.
用務員さんじゃない。明らかに変な歩き方。
The fear was back in full force. I had to find somewhere to hide. What if I'd accidentally summoned something inhuman? I mean, whatever that was, I begged it for help. I literally invited it in. Oh, shit.
どこか隠れるところ。そうだ。
Okay. Round 2. If you choose Supply Locker, you die. At least I think. Yeah, you die. So we're gonna go to the teacher's podium. I hurriedly hid myself beneath the teacher's podium. I grabbed my knees, curled up, and made myself as small as I could.
なんなの一体どうなってるの
You done fucked up, sister! The footsteps continued to draw nearer and nearer. Oh, here it comes! Little by little, the sound grew louder. Every hair on my body was standing on end. Ugh.
このまま通り過ぎてください。お願いします。
I held my breath, clasped my hands together, and silently prayed. If we get a bad ending, do we have to play this section all over again? Technically, yes, but there is a fast-forward option. So, just beeline straight to here. I could also save, but I'll be 100% honest, we haven't played this in so long, I forget what button leads us to save, and I don't want to skip any dialogue. I am that pathetic. They were close now, very, very close. And also, I don't think you can save during dialogue like this.
神様
Don't worry, I'll get all the correct answers. I couldn't make any sense of it. I just wanted it to be over. I prayed to God that it would end. Was this what the old woman was trying to warn me about? Was this all happening because I ignored her? Because I didn't take the paper doll from her? Yes, yes, and yes. Was it because I'd heard the ghost story of Yoshi and allowed it to get to me? Yes! Or did the strange events of the day have nothing to do with what was happening to me now? Wouldn't that be a great bait and switch? It's just like they're building up to all this and it just turns out to be like some dude.
口から心臓が飛び出しちゃいそうだよ。
I was still holding my breath. I didn't dare let even the tiniest of sounds escape and give away my position. It's about to bust through. The consistent rhythm of the footsteps suddenly ended halfway into one of its cycles. And it had ended right in front of this very classroom. Ah, shit! Oh, we got a spirit! I had goosebumps up and down my arms and legs. I stopped praying and clasped my hands over my mouth. I knew I'd scream if I didn't. Could this be Yoshi? Was the school legend real? All I could do was close my eyes, keep my mouth shut, and hope that whoever or whatever this was would just go away. But the footsteps sounds didn't start again. If this was indeed Yoshi, then she stopped in front of the classroom and was just standing there. Ugh! I had no concept of time anymore. I stayed in my hiding spot for what was probably only a few minutes, but felt like at least an hour.
足音が消えた。
If we, like, pop up from our hiding spot and they're just staring at me, closer, like, in the room, oh my god. I decided to carefully peek out from under the podium. I gingerly edged my head out just far enough to get a glimpse of the room. When suddenly, the footsteps rang out once more. It sounded like they were headed right for me, and they might have been inside the room. I honestly couldn't tell. Ah! I scrambled back into my hiding spot and covered my mouth with both hands. It's in the room with us. This was too much for me. My breathing was coarse and erratic, and my face was a mess of tears and snot.
神様、助けて。
I was inconsolable. The footsteps just wouldn't stop. What on earth were they doing? Yep, toying with you. It almost seemed like they were running around in circles just to scare me.
やめてもうやめて
Oh, that was a squeak. That was a fear squeak. I mouth these words over and over again, and move my hands to my ears in a vain attempt to block out this torturous sound. And as if in response, the sound changed. It was a loud, dull thud, followed by silence. No more footsteps. I'd heard that sound hundreds of times before. It was the classroom door sliding open! Ah! I peeked out, but the door was still tightly shut. How could that be? If the sound I heard wasn't the door, then what was it? Is it the other door? What little safety I'd felt here was pretty much gone, but to be fair, I wasn't absolutely certain the spirit had seen or heard me either. The prospect of stepping out into the open wasn't a desirable one, but I had to decide if it was better to stay where I was or to make a break for it. Okay. Again. If you stay hidden, you die. You need to make a break for it. And now I will also say the next options that are going to show up, well, you gotta be quick. Staying in one place for too long seemed like it would be inviting trouble, so I took a deep breath and reluctantly crawled out as quietly as I could. But almost immediately I felt something. Uh-oh. Something long and thin had struck me in the back of the head. Or perhaps struck isn't the right word. There was a little force behind it, but it wasn't a hard slam. More like someone trying to get my attention.
木の棒これは指
Good evening. I knew I wouldn't like what I was going to see, but I had to face whatever this was, so I turned around. Here we go, boys. And there, looming over me, was...
まだ残ってるの 早く帰りなさい
A figure was peering down at me from above the podium. One with emaciated, wishbone-like finger extended toward my face. I recognized this person instantly. No doubt about it. This was the strange old woman who had supposedly passed away earlier. Ooh, what a scream! I was scared out of my mind. I tumbled the rest of the way out from under the podium and shot to my feet. A ghost! There really was a ghost in this school! My breathing was ragged and my heart was pounding so hard I thought it might explode. Plowing through all the desks in my... smashing and crashing, I ran as fast as I could toward the classroom door. But that was as far as I could go.
どうしたの
There, in the open doorway, was the same old woman emitting a bluish-white glow. This was the source of the light I had seen through the window earlier. But how in the world did she get to the door before I did? Teleportation powers, baby! I felt like I was starting to hyperventilate and tried as best as I could to calm my breathing as my eyes darted around the room. I needed to get out of here now to get as far away from this place as I possibly could.
前のドアから出られないとなると外に出るには後ろのドアから出るしか
There you go!
でもそうすると廊下は前のドアにいるあの幽霊の後ろを通らないと出口にはつかない
Better than being trapped in a room!
そんなの無理でも
See, there you go. I bit my lip and continued scanning the room.
何かあれに対抗できるようなものがあればいいんだけど。
Alright, we need a fighting item. I didn't have time to think carefully about it. I just had to grab something and hope for the best. So, this is a timed option. You either get it right, if you run out of time, you fail. If you pick the wrong one, you die. There were two choices, and I had to pick one on impulse before it was too late. Bag of salt!
これって科学の実験の時に使った塩の残りだよね。
I've heard that salt was used in purification rituals, so it seemed like a natural choice.
よし、これを持っていこう。
We're gonna salt bay this ghost. It's actually just like a salt packet.
怖いけど。
Get iodized salt, nerd! When I looked over, the spirit of the old woman was holding out her hand from the other side of the doorframe. She really was trying to catch me. I wasn't just being paranoid, she was going to kill me and turn me into a ghost like her. I was convinced this had to be Yoshi, the teacher from the urban legend.
やだ、そんなの。
That's right, don't let her get him. Don't let her get you. Bracing myself, I darted towards the door at the back end of the classroom. There wasn't a moment to lose. If I didn't act fast, I probably wouldn't be able to act at all. I threw open the door and just began running at top speed, hoping to escape behind the spirit's back. Unsurprisingly, trying to outrun a ghost proved to be a fruitless endeavor. The spirit saw me and moved at breakneck speed to intercept. I thrust my hand into my pocket and withdrew the bag of salt. Then threw the entire thing directly at the old woman's face. Eat salt, bitch! Hey, it worked.
いるんだ、この隙に。
Book it, sister! I ran down the hall as fast as my legs would carry me, briefly glancing over my shoulder at a moment to confirm the spirit was still writhing. Oh my god, we escaped. I just kept on running down the dark hallway with nothing but adrenaline and mortal fear to keep me going. I reached the stairwell at the end of the hall and made a mad dash toward the ground level. I was determined to get out of this building alive. I need to teach students, damn it! Finally, still moving at top speed, I reached the window door leading outside. Luckily, the malevolent spirit hadn't caught up to me yet. She's got salt in her jeans, I guess. It actually seemed like I might be able to escape. I might actually survive this. Never jinx it!
やっとここまで。
Okay, quickly change out of my shoes, or just take them with you at this point. I grabbed the handle and tried pulling it. Oh no. Oh no, they locked the doors.
やだ、やだ、開かない。なんで、どうして、ここまで来て。
Fuck.
どうして、開いてよ、開いてよ。
And full panic has set in.
どうしよう、このままじゃまたあの化け物に。なんとかしなくちゃ、なんとか。
Oh, time! Break the glass! So, what's interesting is you can actually choose run somewhere else, but then you get an alternate choice. So either one of these will work. Just know that you will have another choice to make, and one of those choices will lead to your demise or lead you to be saved. We'll take a look at that when we look at the bad ends. Putting my thoughts in order, I came to the sudden realization that I was right near the umbrella racks. Unless the spirit had taken it or something, my umbrella should still be right where I'd left it. practically tackled the rat, grabbing my umbrella in one swift motion. Not from the handle, mind you, but from the top. Then, taking aim at the glass part of the door, I swung as hard as I could, smacking it dead center with the sturdy plastic handle. Ugh. The glass wasn't going to break so easily, of course, but it did crack, giving me the impetus I needed to go in for a second hit. Again and again, I struck the glass. I had the umbrella gripped so tightly that the metal skeleton of the canopy was leaving indentations in my skin. I was sure there had to be a better way to do this, but too freaked out to do it. But I didn't have the luxury of time to figure out what it might have been.
またこっちに来る。
I began smacking the glass even harder, even faster. My hands were killing me. But this was my only hope of survival. Finally, after far too much effort, the glass shattered onto the floor, making one hell of a sound. Tepid air whooshed in from outside. It was still pouring rain, but I was free now, free to escape this hellhole. The pane I'd broken was on the lower half of the door, and I didn't care if I cut myself. I got down on my hands and knees and crawled like mad.
やった、もうすぐ外だ。出られる。助かった。
Ow, 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 glass on my knees. I felt triumphant. For a brief moment, the fear was gone, and I was basking in my victory over this malevolent entity. But it didn't last long. Before I was even halfway through the door, I felt something coiling itself around my arm. Oh my god. With a start, I looked back.
外は行けませんよ。
Oh, fuck that! Oh, screw that! A tall, shadowy figure had appeared behind me in the entranceway, and she had me in her grasp. Don't like that! There wasn't much more to her than an indistinct, flickering silhouette, but I could clearly see she had a broken neck. Was this a different apparition? Her scraggly, root-like fingers were squeezing my arm with tremendous force, pushing aside muscle and tissue, and pressing right on the bone. Ah!
どこに行くの？もう少しだから待ってて。
Don't like this.
痛い！
I was shaking hysterically and tears were streaming down my face. I was absolutely convinced that I was going to die here.
離して！
Sachi. I could offer no resistance. She was too strong. All I could do was plead with her.
やめて！痛い！痛いよ！
I felt like my arm would snap in two at any moment.
ずーっと一緒にいましょうね。
Nope, 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 nope. She wasn't just grabbing, but twisting as well. Ah, my arm's gonna break. The pain was unlike anything I'd ever experienced before. I couldn't think about anything else. My mind was absorbed by the unconscionable agony. You thought we could get through a single chapter of Corpse Party Book of Shadows without getting a little bit of pain? Well, I'll be damned. My mental self called it.
司くん。
He's gonna fucking die. I thought my arm was about to snap off, and then all of a sudden I was whisked away. Whisked away by Tsukasa.
大丈夫か？
どうして？
今、しのごの言ってる場合じゃない。逃げるぞ。
Oh shit, does he know about this? Tsukasa was still holding onto me tightly after saving me from the brink of death. He led me back into the school at an incredible speed.
ちくしょう。なんだよさっきのは。俺は夢でも見てるのか。
Why are you here, but thank you that you are? That was a weird sentence I just said, but whatever. We've been going for almost 4 hours. He practically spit these words as he continued running.
どうしてここに司くんが？
Don't worry about that until later. I tried to match his gait, and once we were a bit more in sync, I looked up at his face. After we reached the end of the hall, he suddenly veered into the last classroom before the stairwell, pulling me in with him.
シシド、お前怪我はないか？
大丈夫。私はもう一人で歩けるから。
ああ、悪い。
I moved away from Tsukasa and almost immediately spilled onto the ground like a house of cards.
おい、大丈夫じゃないじゃん。
I'll live.
そうだけど、でもすぐに。
無理すんなよ。
Tsukasa grabbed my arm to help me up. Unfortunately, it was the arm Yoshi had been twisting. Ow, 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 ow.
悪い。やっぱり腕怪我してるのか？
よくわかんない。でもすっごく痛いよ。焼けるみたい。
Ooh. I draped my other hand over the sore spot, where I assumed there was probably one hell of a bruise. I started rubbing gently, but it didn't help at all.
そうか。じゃあ保健室ですぐに手当てした方がいいな。
Is now the time for this?
でもそしたらまた。
Yeah, we're gonna get got!
あいつが来るって。
Yeah! Just thinking about going back out there and facing Yoshi made me shudder. I couldn't believe he was even entertaining the idea.
心配すんな。もし仮にあいつが来ても、俺が絶対お前を守ってやるから。
Oh god, I don't want him to die. He's nice.
司くん。
Tsukasa's gentle reassurance actually made me forget the pain in my arm for a moment. I had to stop myself from blushing, or try to, at any rate.
怪我は一刻も早く手当てした方がいいって。まあどうせ先生なんかいないだろうけど、応急手当てくらいなら俺にだってできる。
See, there you go, good guy Tsukasa.
よし、行くぞ。
Tsukasa offered me his hand, and I graciously took it, squeezing it tightly as he led me back out into the hallway.
司くんの手あったかい。
Despite the fact that nothing had really changed, I was still in just as much danger as I had been. The paralyzing fear I had been feeling was gone. If it were just me, I would have never been able to do this. I would have frozen up. But with Tsukasa leading the way, I felt like I could do anything.
シシド、少し走るけど大丈夫か？
As long as I don't klutz my way out of this. With my blessing, Tsukasa upped his pace significantly.
もうあいつが出てきませんように。
I prayed silently for smooth sailing as I followed Tsukasa's lead.
このまま司くんと一緒にいられれば安心。
There we go. I gently squeezed his hand again as if to reassure myself that he was still with me. I was starting to think maybe Yoshi was gone. Maybe we'd thwarted her. But, of course, just as I was thinking that, she made her presence known again. Jinxed it. An unearthly voice reverberated through the dark corridor. I immediately drew myself into Tsukasa's back.
もっと連れてこい。
Oh my god! Front-facing sprites are horrifying in this game. Over Tsukasa's shoulder, I saw the same shadow-like spirit from before. I hate this sprite. It must have been waiting here to ambush us. Can somebody on the dev team turn down the Gaussian blur?
大丈夫。落ち着け。
The ghost was moaning and wavering before us. We'd never be able to get past it.
私のために何でもしてくれる。
I need an adult. I am an adult.
おい、シシド。俺があいつを引きつけるから、その隙に走って逃げろ。
Oh God.
やだよ、一緒に逃げて。
Uh-huh.
俺には秘密兵器があるのさ。
Oh yeah? More salt! Bleh!
俺のばあさんからもらった形見のお守り。さっきあいつにこれを向けたら少し割りやがった。
Okay. He's got his own charm. Nice.
形見のお守り？
Wards off the evil spirits. It's my pencil.
でも、司くんやっぱり危険。
俺？まあ、なんとかなるだろう。
そんな。
待ちなさい。
Ooh, that was a lot closer. We really didn't have time to be arguing. It was closing in fast. I even noticed that from across the room. Because the audio right now is coming from my PC and not my TV. I could tell she was getting closer. The audio design in this game rules. And as it did, I noticed the spirit's figure had become more defined. She was a tall, young woman with her head turned sideways at a 90-degree angle. The tale of Yoshi suggests she fell down a flight of stairs, so a broken neck would certainly fit.
早く走れ!
He gave my back a shove to get me started, and with no time to object, I unconsciously obliged. Tsukasa ran too, darting ahead of me for a few short moments.
おい、化け物! こっちだ!
待ちなさい。
No running in the halls! Tsukasa ran as close as he possibly could to get Yoshi's attention, then turned tail and began sprinting off in the opposite direction.
こっちだぞ! 化け物!
Amazingly, it worked! The spirit began chasing Tsukasa, leaving me completely unobstructed.
どうしよう。私、このまま一人逃げてもいいの？
I was torn. On the one hand, I knew this was my best chance, but I couldn't help worrying about what would happen to Tsukasa if his charm failed. I stopped for a moment and glanced over my shoulder. He was still running, and the shadowy figure was still in hot pursuit.
司くん、お守り出して！危ないよ！
いいから、行けって! お前が逃げ切ったのを確認したら、俺も逃げるからさ!
You better keep that promise, dude. I still can't believe I fell for it, but this was right about when I realized the truth. Sacrifice play? Oh, God. Tsukasa had no protective charm. He had just made that up, so I wouldn't object too strongly to him serving as a decoy while I got away.
やっぱりダメ。
I stopped in my tracks and shouted out at the top of my lungs.
待ちなさい、ヨシエ先生。
I wasn't sure exactly what I was getting myself into, but I had to do something, and calling the spirit's name definitely seemed to have had an effect.
あなたの名前知ってるわよ。
おい、シスター！
I'm saving your ass! Let me do it! All at once, the black figure was facing me, though I never saw her turn around. She was flying toward me now, ignoring Tsukasa.
怖くない怖くない怖くない怖くない怖くない怖くない怖くない怖くない怖くない怖くない怖くない怖くない。
I repeated this like a sutra and stuck one hand into my pocket, grasping tightly onto the one and only item I'd stashed there.
お前は私を知っているのか。
You know, I was just kind of joking about the pencil being a good luck charm, but let's see if we actually pull it out and scare off Yoshi with a pencil.
私には本当にお守りがある。
Fear my eraser! Tsukasa's care, his effort, his beliefs, they were all packed into this pencil. And when you get right down to it, that's what a charm is, right? Oh, hell yeah. I squeezed the nubby little thing in my pocket, mentally preparing myself for the confrontation ahead. The confrontation I had impulsively initiated.
シスター！逃げろ！
Never!
逃げない。私は逃げないわ。神様、どうかお願い。助けて。
Fingers crossed! I closed my eyes, lifted my hand from my pocket, and brandished Tsukasa's pencil intently. The gauntlet had been thrown. I was putting a lot of faith into this, and I really, really hoped I hadn't made a mistake in doing so.
私は獅子のゆい。この学校で先生を目指しているわ。
A teacher just like you were. I opened my eyes to find that the shadowy spirit Yoshi had stopped dead in her tracks. Did it work? Was Tsukasa's pencil keeping this vengeful soul at bay?
私の代わりはいらない。死ね。
Fuck! Suddenly, I was whisked off my feet and slammed against the ceiling. Well,
シシだー！
I could see him down below. He was staring up at me and desperately leaping. He was trying to catch me, I suppose? Even though he knew he'd never reach. I called out to him over and over again in my mind. If he could get away, if he could survive this ordeal, then it would all have been worth it. Yoshi was drawing near, and I was helplessly pinned to the ceiling. I had no chance at all. There was no doubt in my mind that my life was over. I clung to the relief I felt at Tsukasa's safety. It was the only thing keeping me from losing my head entirely. Then, all at once, the situation took a complete 180. It was like a miracle.
Shinozaki Yoshie! そこまでにせい!
Before I had any idea what was happening, I found myself bathed in a gentle light. Thank you, old woman!
Oh, おばあちゃん。
守ってやれんですまんな。せめてこれ以上邪術が拡大せぬこと。
It was the old woman who had collapsed in front of my house. She was standing down below me, enveloped in a warm glow. Oh. Oh. The black shadow lunged toward her. Then there was a horrific noise, and the old woman was gone.
シシド
And just like that, I fell to the ground. Whatever Yoshi had done to me, the old woman must have nullified it. That must have been why she came to me this morning, and why she had come again now. Wow, so even in death, she was able to protect us. I felt like I was going to faint. Tsukasa ran to my side and gently scooped me off the ground into his arms. Yoshi's spirit was gone. She had vanished along with the light. Around us now, the only sound was the pitter-patter of raindrops on the school roof.
おいシシドシシド
司くん。
I'd suffered quite a bump on the head from my fall and was decidedly disoriented. But I still had enough sense to put my arms around Tsukasa's neck.
バカ逃げろって言ったのに
I saved your ass, dude!
ごめん。でも。
I wanted to protect you. I couldn't bear the thought of losing you, is what I wanted to say. But instead, I just passed out in his arms.